Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into India's National Education Policy 2020. Now, this is a blueprint that's designed to completely overhaul how millions of students learn. And trust me, this isn't just some minor update. It's one of the most ambitious educational reforms the country has seen in decades. All right, so let's start with the big question. Why? Why was such a massive change needed in the first place? Well, to really get it, we need to take a look at the problems with the old system it's replacing. And that really is the central question this policy is trying to answer. You see, for years, critics have pointed out that the system felt, well, pretty rigid. It was all about encouraging students to just memorize facts instead of, truly understanding them and thinking critically. And it's not just talk, the data absolutely backs this up. A government report uncovered a pretty staggering learning crisis. We're talking over 5 crore elementary school students who lacked basic reading and math skills. I mean, they couldn't read and understand a simple text or do basic sums. That's a huge sign that something fundamental had to change, and fast.
So what was causing this? Well, a big part of it was this culture of rote learning. The entire focus just boiled down to cramming as much information as possible for one single, super high-stakes final exam. And what does that do? It totally stifles creativity and any real understanding. It basically rewarded who could memorize the best, not who could actually solve a problem.
So, in response to all of this, the National Education Policy 2020 was introduced. And look, this wasn't just about tweaking a few things here and there. No way. This was about completely reimagining the very purpose of education for the 21st century. This policy is being hailed as India's first for this new century. And what's the vision? Well, it's pretty big. It's to transform the nation into an equitable and vibrant knowledge society. And the way to do that? By providing a high-quality education for every single person. And this quote, this really gets to the absolute heart of the policy. We're talking about a fundamental philosophical shift here. The goal isn't just to teach students what to learn anymore, it's to give them the skills to learn how to learn, so they can keep learning for their entire lives. Okay, so probably the most immediate and visible change is the structure of schooling itself. That old familiar 10+2 model? It's gone, out the window. It's been replaced by a new design that's meant to align way more closely with a child's actual cognitive and developmental stages. So let's break this down. We're moving from that old 10+2 system to this new 5+3+3+4 structure. And you might ask, what's the biggest difference? Well, it now formalizes learning right from age 3. That means it brings early childhood education, which we all know is absolutely crucial for brain development, right into the main system. And what's really fascinating is the thinking behind each of these new stages. You've got the foundational stage for the youngest kids, which is all about flexible, play-based learning. Then the preparatory stage starts to gently bring in things like textbooks. And as you move to the middle and secondary stages, the focus shifts to different subjects. But, and this is key, with a huge emphasis on critical thinking and studying across different fields. So that's the new structure. But what does it actually mean for students? What will they be doing inside and outside the classroom? Let's get into that, because this is where the policy starts to get really, really innovative. This is one of the biggest game changers. Those rigid walls we all remember between science, arts, and commerce, they're being torn down. From now on, students in secondary school will have the flexibility to pick and choose subjects that actually interest them. So, could a student study physics and fashion design at the same time? Yep, absolutely. The policy is also huge on learning by doing. Get this, sometime between grades 6 and 8, students will have a 10-day bagless period. What does that mean? It means they'll actually go and intern with local experts, like potters, carpenters, gardeners, you name it, to get real hands-on experience and connect with their local community. And of course, to make sure students are ready for the future, some pretty essential skills are being brought in much, much earlier. We're talking about subjects like coding and computational thinking being introduced right from class 6. The idea is to prepare them for a world that's, let's face it, completely driven by technology. So when you put it all together, the flexible subjects, the hands-on learning, the early coding, it's all designed to build these crucial 21st century skills. It's about pushing students beyond just memorizing facts and really developing their ability to think critically, to create, and to work together effectively. Now, it makes sense, right? If you're going to fundamentally change how you teach, you've got to change how you measure success, too.
And that's exactly what this policy does. It completely transforms the whole idea of assessment, moving away from those super stressful, high-stakes exams.
In this is probably huge news for students everywhere. That infamous pressure cooker of the board exams, it's being deliberately dialed way, way down. The goal is to make them a more complete measure of what a student has learned, not just one single terrifying event that basically decides their entire future.
So how are they doing it? Well, for one, the exams are going to focus on core concepts and actual skills, not just what you manage to memorize. Plus, students will get 2 chances to take them each year, a main exam and another one for improvement. The thinking here is that any student who's put in a reasonable effort should be able to pass.
Oh, and you can pretty much forget about the old mark sheet. That's being replaced by something called a holistic 360-degree report card. Sounds fancy, right? It's basically designed to be a super comprehensive report that shows a student's progress and unique talents in a lot more detail. And when I say comprehensive, I mean it. This won't just be about what the teacher thinks. The new report card is going to include self-assessment from the student themselves, peer assessment from their classmates, and it'll track progress on things like projects and group work. It's all about getting a truly complete 360-degree picture. But, beyond all the new subjects and report cards, the policy is really guided by a much deeper vision. This quote says it all. The whole point of the education system is to develop good human beings, people who can think rationally, but who also have compassion and empathy. It's about building character, not just careers. So when you step back and look at it, you can see how it all fits together. The new structure, the flexible curriculum, the different way of doing exams, they're all interconnected pieces of a much larger puzzle. And the goal of that puzzle? To create a whole generation of critical thinkers and innovators who can help make India a global knowledge superpower. And that brings us to the final and maybe the most critical question. On paper, the blueprint is visionary. The ideas are incredible. But its ultimate success all comes down to one thing: implementation. Can these ideas be turned into a reality in millions of classrooms for every single student? For a nation of over 1 billion people, that is the great challenge that lies ahead.